To practice color applications, you'll need your mock color, and make sure that it is dark enough so that you can see your work. You're going to need a short-haired mannequin usually, and we're going to section it into 4. Down the center 6 point, find the apex, and from the apex you're going to go down to behind the ear, and that will give you your 4 quadrants. When you're starting a retouch application, we're normally going to practice by starting in the back right hand quadrant and working clockwise around the head. If you were doing an actual client though, you would need to complete your hair analysis and determine if the client has some gray. And if the client has more gray in the front, you might want to start your application. In fact, you should start your application at the grayest point and apply there first, and then work your way around the head to other areas. By starting at the grayest point, this allows us to allow that a little bit longer penetration and that gray to accept some of the color as well. Remember, when hair is gray, you may also want to pre-soften it, and you can do that just by adding some 20 volume on a cotton swab and just saturate the gray areas, and then mix your color formula, and then when you start your application you don't have to rinse that 20 volume off, you just apply right over top, and that allows the process of that hair to allow the color to enter. It opens up the cuticle a little bit more, allowing color molecules to enter. Another nice thing to try is if you're having trouble with clients having their coverage, their hair color coverage in the gray areas, you could put end papers there. The porous end papers cause the color molecules to rush to that porous end paper, and you get a little bit more deposit. So that might be something else you'd like to try. When we start our color application, wear your gloves. Make sure that you have your gloves. If you want to wear a glove on one hand, that's fine, or both hands, it's up to you. We're going to start by applying our color into our 4 sections, so it holds it out, the hair in its 4 quadrants as we work. When you're working with your color, always dip your brush into the bowl and remove color from one side, so you only have product on one side of the brush. And when you're working that way, it will help you to perform a neat application. Now, picture first, before you start, how much regrowth does this client have? If she has approximately 1 inch of regrowth, I'm just going to be applying that color to that 1 inch from her scalp. And we're just going to work down and do our quadrants. You don't want to get the hair color anywhere else, because if you do, it's going to process in those areas as well. If we overlap, we're going to leave a line of demarcation for that client, and we don't want that to happen. So we're just going to work our way neatly with product on one side of our brush only, not on both sides. We also want to try not to get product up the handle of the brush as we're working. And you want to work on your speed and practice this application so that you can eventually work quickly enough to get a color application completed very quickly for clients, and you can move on and process the client, or maybe work on another client. When you're applying, you want to use a little more pressure when you first start and sort of feather off as you're leaving the hair. So a little more pressure, and then just feather upwards. keep your application nice and neat. If you do get any product where you don't want it, remove it immediately. So if I have some product here, I need to take that, remove it. I can use a towel. I can use my glove. If you use your glove, make sure you have a towel handy to wipe your gloves off after, so that you don't get any product where it is not wanted. Okay, so there we have our 1-inch application. Once we have our quadrants complete, then we just start our application at the back, right hand quadrant, and we work our way around the head. Try to apply an even amount of color as you're working. Now once we start to work in our back quadrant, we're going to take diagonal lines and we're going to follow the curve of the head as we work. This also allows for a section that our hands can control. So as we take approximately a 1-inch section, again we're going to push that color in and just get up to the 1 inch. If you're doing a retouch and you want, you can put some cotton here, just so this folds over and doesn't lay on the other hair. And the amount of the subsection that you're taking depends upon the density of that client's hair. So we're just going to push and feather, and you'll see we get color on the opposite side as well. We don't want to have to go and put color on one side and then put color on the opposite side. We want to be able to do a fast application and do this all in one go. So you can see when I push, I am getting color on both sides, the upper side and the back side. And always check your color. Once you're done, give it 5 minutes to oxidize, and then go through and check your color. And if you see any light spots, add some more color. So we're pushing through, and that way we can see on the opposite side we have our color. And this makes for a quick application. So I'm just going to continue working on this color application. This is contract F-1, the assignment, and it's great to practice your retouch and get accuracy and speed.